See if your mind can conceive it, and you can believe it. If you got the passion, then you can achieve it.
Now, it's just to give you a little background. I actually received the Entrepreneur of the Year award for the state of Oklahoma. Received one for the city of Tulsa, and won a bunch of awards. But really, they're just consolation prizes for my prolific failures. It all started off here in this house, 1925 West Memphis, Broken Arrow. And my mother, who had this concept, she said, "Dare to be different. You have to dare to be different." And my mom always said that. And, so I had like G.I. Joe themed parties. And if you go to the next slide, I can kind of show you what I did. I started making Garfield bubble paint t-shirts. Highly illegal, bootleg, didn't have a permit, didn't have a license, didn't care. It's okay. But I went ahead and had that. And I sold those when I was in first grade. Made a whole lot of money, didn't pay taxes on it. Don't feel bad about it either. Then went to the next part, and that's Milli Vanilli. I started bootlegging Milli Vanilli tapes till my principal told me, "You can't high-speed dub tapes at a profit there, son." So did that. Then I moved on to the whole supply and demand. You're at school, and the gum's in short supply, and it is a huge demand. So I marked up that price, $1 for a piece of gum, 50 cents for a piece of gum. It's a fair deal. And made money that way. Then I legitimized my income and formed a paper route there. So that's the paper route there. And that's my mom, again, saying dare to be different. Next slide, please. Okay, then we moved up to Minnesota. Once we moved up to Minnesota, I discovered the Minnesota Vikings and how they almost win all the time. Almost win the Super Bowl, get close. Kirby Puckett, who is the only African American in the whole state, actually. Prince doesn't qualify. And then there's rhubarb. We have the rhubarb there. You can't go wrong with it. Then we have bars. We don't have cookies there. We cut them into bars. It makes us feel better because it's easier. It's really saying, I didn't want to make the cookie shape. I just wanted to throw them into a pan and just serve it that way. But we call them bars to make ourselves feel good. Then there's the world's largest ball of twine, which was our big tourist attraction. You guys need to get one here. It's going to fix everything. Trust me. Okay. Anyway, world's largest ball of twine. There it is in Darwin, Minnesota. And then there's ice fishers. I drew a picture of an Eskimo, but that's what I felt like. And then we had corn. And our primary holiday was the Corn Carnival that we had in June. It was awesome. And moving from the city to that town, it was pretty traumatic. And I moved out as soon as I could, but I'm happy to be here in the country again. It's very peaceful. All right, next slide there. In Minnesota, we had a group called Students Against Drunk Driving. And who here has been a part of SAD? SAD? Okay, you got, okay. And what happened to our sad dances? Maybe I'm not trying to assume, not trying to prejudge, but our sad dances were very sad. There's like 6 people there, and we're all trying to celebrate not drinking, but having a good time. It's very confusing time. We're all high school seniors, and there we are. And I realized that nobody was attending. So I said, hey, we got 100 people, Mrs. Page, that come to this thing tops, including sponsors and people that intended on attending. If I could maybe make $5 per head for every person after 100 that attends, I think we could pull 500 people. I think we could pull it off. I think we can. Yes, we can. And so I was, I think, like 15 at the time. So I started putting on these sad dances. Lo and behold, we started pulling 400 people, 500. That's how I did it. And again, I wasn't paying taxes on it. I didn't feel bad. Now I pay taxes. I just want to keep saying that because I pay a lot of taxes now. Okay, but that was, so again, your life lesson you might be able to learn here is areas of poor service offer business opportunities. As Tommy alluded to, there's not maybe poor service, but they just couldn't meet the demand for all the waste storage facilities. So you got to get on that thing. You got to take advantage of that opportunity. For me, it was sad dances. Now they weren't so sad anymore. Moving on to the next slide. Then I moved down south and attended college at ORU, Oral Roberts University, home of Richard Roberts and his prolific spending. But anyway, sorry about that. But anyway, I went to ORU and I came to learn about spirit, mind, and body, and to move back home to Oklahoma, which I've always considered home. I don't go back to Minnesota, don't like it very much. But there I actually learned to read. And I thought maybe today that everybody could learn to read. If you haven't learned to read yet, this will be a great thing for you. USA Today did a study that showed that only 50% of all Americans have read a book in the past decade. Incredible. Of college graduates, we went up a little bit. It was like 40%, or it was like 60% of all college graduates have read a book in the past decade. So you got to be thinking to yourself, maybe we're humans, maybe we fall into this category, maybe we don't read books per decade. I don't know. But I used to be a reader where I would read but not retain, if that makes sense. You read the book and you're like, what did I just read? I don't know. Let's look at the cliff notes, let's pass the test, let's get a B, let's move on. I don't know. You know? And so one of my teachers pulled me aside and she said, Clay, if you're not dog-earing the book, if you're not highlighting the book, if you're not writing what nuggets you can apply into your life and then actually having relentless follow-up with yourself to make sure that you learn from them, then Lord of the Flies means nothing. Then we killed Piggy just because, we didn't like it. You know? So you got to apply these things. So I learned to read, learn, and apply. That's all I do, by the way, right now. I just keep winning awards that I read, learn, and apply. Like Dave Ramsey, read his book. Awesome stuff. People are like, why are you driving a $1,000 van? Shouldn't you maybe upgrade to a $1,200 van? No. Dave Ramsey says, live debt-free. So I read it, I learned it, I applied it. There we go. Next one. And there we go. At college, I read this quote by Russell Simmons. He says, the goal is to be able to live your life the way Michael Jordan played basketball or Marvin Gaye sang a song. To be able to feel the way you feel when you laugh at a joke, but to feel that way all the time. All the time. So to be basically living life in a euphoric way is the way to go.